Welcome back to my Unity 5 tutorial series. In this session we're gonna finish off our Waypoints tool for now. We're just gonna actually add one minor feature which I forgot in the recent sessions, and then we're just gonna add some more wrapping around it to prepare it to be the tool we want it to be. Also prepare it in a way so we can easily add other tools in future tutorials. So first thing I want to do is open up the Waypoint script in MonoDevelop. And the first feature, or the missing feature I'm talking about is, if we look at our waypoints, something we need for our next tool actually, which will build on top of our waypoints, we need this path to be closed. So we need an option, check mark, draw a circle or something like that, and then we will have a connector between the first and the last waypoint. Okay, let's do that. And so in our script, I want to add a public variable just beneath our draw gizmo always, and I'm just going to rename this actually. Let's see, right click refactor, and I'm going to rename this to draw always. And now I create another bool draw circle. If you find a better name, feel free to choose that. So this is our bool, and now there would be ways to try to incorporate that bool in our connectors part in our draw custom gizmo function, but I've tried it and it's actually not really saving lines of code to do it this way. So I'm just gonna actually copy and paste this entire section and just edit it. So let's call this draw circle, and instead of our for statement, we actually can take an if statement, actually for loop, not statement, sorry. If draw circle, then so I'm just going to rename that just so it's readable. So we start with our last waypoint, which would be waypoints dot count -1, and also here we need the force height statement in case we want to adjust the height in the editor. And waypoint 2 will be waypoint first, and it is on index 0. So this time we're actually drawing from last to first. Shouldn't matter much, but just want to keep it in order. So we have to calculate the first minus last, and then we take our last waypoint and start drawing from there. Okay, let's see if that works. We get our bool here, and if I press it, fair enough, it closes our path. So I think that should come in handy. And now this is actually it already for working on our waypoints tool. If you have more ideas or of possible features or any questions how to add a certain thing, feel free to write a comment. And now what we want to do is just enable us to wrap it up as a tool set. So our tool set will actually only have one tool, but that mustn't bother us right now. The first thing I want to do with that is actually rename our show parent gizmo script. That's just not a good name. It doesn't fit with the other names. So I'm gonna right click on the name, refactor, rename, and I'm gonna name this Waypoint child script. So if you remember, we had a Waypoint child editor, we have a Waypoint editor, we also have a Waypoint script. So Waypoint child script is more clean, I think. Now we need to save this, and then hopefully our errors should vanish. No, not yet. In our Waypoint script, I think that error might still be, it might still not have refreshed the name. That's sometimes with refactoring. I've experienced that a few times, that it doesn't work right away. Don't know if I'm doing anything wrong there, but let's see. That all works. Funny that. Just want to make sure that I don't have show parent gizmo anywhere left. So yeah, I actually cannot tell you why I still get this error. Let's call this waypoints. Waypoint child script. Save, go back. Oh no, okay, so that was just an error, Unity not updating the name properly. I don't know why. And of course now that script was not properly attached here. So I just gonna reset. And if I now add new waypoints, they all get the right script. So that works again. And another thing we need to do is, in the last session we just commented out our create waypoint function and then replaced it with create waypoint after. We don't need that anymore. It works actually all pretty well using this function. So this is it for cleaning up, I think. And another thing I want to do now is go back to Unity and open our, cannot open both at the same time, open our editor scripts. Okay, and so those are our 4 scripts that we got for our tool. And what I want to do with that is actually wrap them, all of them, in a namespace. So I've only read a little bit about namespaces. I've seen a few developers saying they're really helpful. Others say they are not necessary at all, just use static classes. So you pick your side, really. The reason why I want to wrap all our classes in namespace is actually we have a tool set. We have classes called something like Waypoint script, And this is all, those terms might be easily chosen by someone else as well. And especially if we call this whole setup tools or something similar like that, that might be, you know, I've even seen other tutorials where also someone had a toolset called tools. So I think that's just not a good name to distinguish your own toolset from another one. So anyways, we're just gonna go ahead, create a namespace. So you just write namespace and then give it a name. I chose to call mine GG Tools. Feel free to use your own name for that. And then I just wanna indent it. So on PC that would be Control Alt and the End button, End key to indent it, or you also can use the edit format indent. So what this does now is it's wrapping all our functions, all the public functions and variables within this namespace. So if I would want to use it somewhere else in another function, I could say using GG tools and I would have all those functions available. But I'm actually now not using it for this purpose. The reason I'm using it, as I said, is plainly just to hide our public functions in a set frame. So now we need to do this on all our scripts and not forget to save. And you'll get a few errors while you're doing that because all of a sudden public functions that are required are not available anymore because they're hidden in the namespace. But if you just finish it, then everything should work once more. So, and now move back to Unity, it updated, and I can pull in a new prefab and everything works just as before. Sweet. And another thing I want to do is make our project folder structure a bit more confusing. So I create another folder. I call this GG Tools. And I pull our Waypoints folder in here. And within GG Tools, I create another folder called Scripts. If you want to order your folders differently, do so. It's just really, for now, I want to keep all the different tools separate. Maybe later on I'm gonna put it all together. Don't know yet. So, and sorry, it just had some errors on the side here. Okay, so what I want to do now is create a menu item for our toolset. And I create a new C# script. I'm gonna call this GG Tools menu. Open it up in MonoDevelop. First thing again would be adding our namespace. We don't need MonoBehavior this time. We need Unity editor though. So I'm gonna delete those functions. And this will be the menu item for our Waypoints tool. And creating menu items is really easy, like straightforward. I really like it. All you need to do is to pass in a string, which is the path of your menu item. So if you follow along, I now set the path to ggtools create waypoints. And without any, oh sorry, don't need this one at the end. Without adding any functionality to it, if we go back to Unity, what happens is nothing. Because it might actually not work. Sorry. Then let's just add a function to it. Static void create waypoints. Okay. Now I save it, save the script, go back to Unity, and now we actually get our menu item. So right now it doesn't do anything because this static void is the function that is getting called as we press on this particular menu item. And what we want to do is game object, waypoint object is a new game object. So we create a new game object and add our script to it. Of course, it was possible to use resources, create a prefab in a resources folder and pull that in here, but then we always need to keep our prefab in sync with the prefab in a resources folder. And yeah, I just think it's easier to do it this way to set up our waypoints object. So we add the component of our waypoint script, we add a name to it, and I want it to be selected. And I want to be able to undo having clicked that button. So we've done all this before, nothing new here. So, and now if we go back to Unity, I can actually press ggtools create waypoints and I get my new waypoint object, which is at 0, 0. So if you're not happy with the position, then still add something there. I'm fine with it right now. And yeah, there's our tool and it works out of the box. So that's already nice. And now with the remaining time, I'm just gonna play around a bit. So you don't have to do this, but what I want to add is just about window. I want to add this to our ggtools menu. So I create a new C# script, open it up, and same, we need the Unity editor again. We don't need the mono behavior, but an editor window this time. And of course, we need namespace ggtools once more. So here we go. Our starting point. So first we need to create another menu item, and the path for this would be ggtools about ggtools. And again a static void let's call it init ggtools menu about. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is create the window or get a reference to the window. Create an instance of it. So with that line of code, we actually create our window and have a reference to it. Gonna set the position as a new rect, and we don't need a large window, so I'm gonna set first the position on a quarter each of the height and the width of the screen, and yeah, the width shall be 250 and 150 in the height. That should be enough. Right. And if you create an editor window, there are actually different ways how you can show it. You can show it as a utility, as a tab, a pop-up, notification. So there are a few options. Just play around with it. There's cool stuff here, and you can create your own tabs if you like, or yeah. I'm gonna use a pop-up that seems reasonable for an about window. So now we've set up our window, but now we need to add some content. This happens in our onGUI function. And I'm gonna use GUI styles here. So GUI style, let's call this a title style. And the title style, font style, I'll set to Unity Engine font style bold. So these are just some formatting options. Feel free to do it differently. I just want to show you how to use them in a custom editor. So that should be enough. Then I want to, how do we do that? Okay, I'm just gonna set a float margin here. If I can spell it right, just set it for 10 for now. And the thing is, if we now put anything in our box, in our window, in our pop-up window, then it will actually start writing anything right from the frame. I don't like that. I want to have a bit of a margin around it. So we can do this with begin an area, or setting an area where we want to draw our labels and everything. So this is taking a rect as parameter. I'm just gonna write that quickly and then we look at it. Takes a text about GG tools and a style. So again, we could have chosen a label for that, but I wanted to have a bit of a margin around, so I chose an area. And here we set the offset, the left upper left corner. This is on 1010 within our pop-up window, and the width, I just choose the full window width minus 2 times the margin on the left and right side, and same for the height, minus 2 times the margin on the top and the bottom. Set a title string with a title GUI style. So Next thing, I want to leave some space. Let's say 20. And start GUI style again. Actually, let me just copy this GUI style section from up above. I'm gonna call this details label style, and I want it to have font size 12, and I want it to have word wrap, because this is gonna be our text about our tool. And now editor GUI layout. Label field. So this is one way to make to write a label. How do we want to call it? GG tools is a set of tools, hopefully at one point. Which makes working with Unity easier. So yeah, that's not the best description text you've ever seen, but it will do for now. We add our style to it, and let's just have a look how it looks like right now. We still got an error here. Let's quickly fix that one. Yep. And now we get our label. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, I'm still getting this error. Okay, let's leave it for now and just finish the script, and then we'll see if we can get rid of the error. Yeah, I set this to 10 and copy and paste this entire section. So I still want to add a version and a last modified date. So I'm going to call this details value style. Let's see, we don't need a word wrap for that. We don't need bold. I'm gonna choose italic instead. And actually I didn't like the bold on our text, so I'm gonna remove this. And we're not gonna use a label we're gonna use a label field, and I'm gonna write a version. And the nice thing with label fields is you can actually, let's do it this way. I can now add, if we move down, a second label. So we are gonna do this 1.0.0, and we can add our style. This is for the version of our tool set, and last modified. So that would be now the 3rd, today, 3rd of February. And at the very end, we still need the button to dismiss our pop-up window. So this is just a plain GUI layout button we've used before many times. Cheers. And the window gives us a function called close, which obviously closes the function, closes the window. And we started an area. This might actually have caused our error before, because we never ended this area. So now I save the script, and let's just clear our console, and it stays clear. And this looks nicer than before, I think. We have a title, we have a text, which got word wrapping, we got... Oh, the italic style is not working for some reason. Yeah, I cannot even tell you why, but I'm not gonna bother with it now since the tutorial's gone longer than expected already. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it as this. Just gonna export it as a package. So, oh, forgot, of course, our scripts need to move to the scripts folder in ggtools, and now we can export it as a package. There it is, our toolset. Just gonna put it in here. I've done that before, so I'm gonna just replace it. So there we go, we've got our toolset, and it's ready for adding other tools. And as I said last session, I'm gonna give a sneak peek what the next tool will be. So I was thinking it would be actually helpful to have areas. If you walk around in a 3D world and you walk in a village and you want to change the sound, or you want to have trigger other effects because you've entered the village, like if you've done something wrong in one of your quests and everybody is mad at you and needs to attack you, then it would be nice to have boundaries of our village as a set area. And the next tool we're gonna create will actually be an area tool. So we will create a mesh in script, procedural mesh, which will use our waypoints tool as a base. So that's what we need our draw circle for. So if you're interested in that, yeah, have a look at the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, the creation process of our waypoints tool. I hope you can use it, and see you next time. Bye.